Hey Gary, it's time for a response video. I, like every good sitcom character, am wearing the exact same clothes as before. I just kind of happened to be wearing it today, but now I think that's going to be my thing. I'm just going to never change my clothes again when on camera for the rest of my life and see how long it takes for people to think that I'm Homer Simpson or some shit. I don't know. Today I'm drinking a beer. It's a local brewery in Green Bay. It's called Titletown Brewing, and this one is Boathouse. It is a Pilsner, a golden lager Pilsner style, and it's quite a bit hoppier than I like or am used to. So, I was trying something new. I wouldn't get it again. It's good, I just don't like hops. But I will suffer for the beer. So to respond to the questions you put up in the last video about the draft, I actually think we should reinstate the draft. I think it would be good for a lot of reasons. I think it'd be good to have like a two-step military where like we have a volunteer, like special forces, elite, like well-trained volunteer force. Keep that part, right? But then have a draft portion as well. The reason why I support the draft actually is one, I'm too old and fat to be drafted now, so all right. But mostly, actually, I think it's harder to go to war, to declare war, and you have less wars and less kind of military action when there's more political pressure on the general populace against our government to do those things. So I think that's like part of the checks and balances that works uh, for our country in a way to kind of try and mitigate needless or senseless wars or wars of choice. So that's why I support that. I also actually think it would be good to do kind of like the Israeli Defense Force, what they do, where every able-bodied citizen has to be a part of the military for a period of their lives when on like a certain age range. Of course, I don't think that this would be necessarily just to, go overseas and be deployed and do military stuff. I think our military could be used as a kind of like a peacetime force, doing public works projects and stuff around the country, rebuilding the infrastructure of America or whatever else. That's part of what the military is good for. Like the Army Corps of Engineers could go around and fix a bunch of locks and dams and whatever else, and that's good training for outside the military too, for young people there's tons of benefits to it. I think it's a good idea. Make everybody volunteer to serve the government and do stuff, and yeah, then draft for actual physical fighting, because it's, I think, less likely we'd get into unnecessary wars that way. I mean, like, the last time we had a draft was Vietnam, and really that was the response. Because there was such a public response against that war, the government just decided, let's not do the draft anymore, instead of let's not fight these kinds of wars. That was kind of their thing, I guess, or at least how I kind of view it. So I think it's good to have political pressure on politicians of all kinds, because moms vote. Moms whose kids are going to be sent to war would vote, and their voices would be heard in the government, for sure. So yeah, that's what I think about the draft. I'm for it. Let's do it. I say everybody. So yeah, I mean, we could also, while we're at it, stop calling it the Department of Defense. So you could go back to the pre-World War II Department of War. Call it that, because that's what it really is. We could do all kinds of things. We could end endless military spending on things the Pentagon says it doesn't want, like tanks. Like, we've got enough, but we're not going to stop making them because Congress, basically. So yeah, there's all kinds of things I would change about the military if I had my do druthers, but that's why I don't, probably, and will never have any say, because now I've said it and put it on the internet so people can find it. this is really going to complicate when I run for president in 2024. I actually am thinking about filing that year, just kind of as a joke, but also to see, maybe I can get some of that super PAC money for myself. Why not make anonymous millions of dollars, not spend it campaigning, and then just, buy a beachfront house, like what everybody else does. What's wrong with that? But yeah, in other news, it's No Shave November for me. I shaved at the start of November. It was literally like the first time I had shaved in like 4 years or more. And I remember exactly why I don't like shaving from doing that. So we've got it worked back a little bit now. There's actually a contest at work for who can regrow the best after the end of November. But yeah, otherwise that's pretty much it, I guess. If I had to beg some kind of question for you off the top of my head that I haven't thought about before right this second, and I'm kind of stalling. I've been thinking about doing something. I've kind of been trying to do it, but I don't know if it's futile or if it's silly or if I should just give up. But I'm thinking about going on a clickbait diet, because I'm starting to get all kinds of like recommended for me in social media stuff that I just know, like, I don't know where the fuck they're getting the idea. Well, I know where they're getting the idea, but I need to stop. I need to stop clicking on every link somebody sends me about politics, because it's ruining what the internet thinks of me as a consumer of media. And I think it's an interesting concept, is to just go on a, don't click on links for the foreseeable future. I will surf the web that I find from my looking for it, but like on social media, don't click on anybody's links for anything. It's going to be hard. But yeah, what do you think about that? Is that an idea worth doing? How have you kind of dealt with the modern age of, modern content marketing, and how do you feel being the commodity for social networks? Because, the social networks aren't built for us. They're built to advertise off of us. So, how's that make you feel?